guy's holding 2 guns in his hand and he's still got in a damn thing.
I'm telling you, man, these movies are damn terrible. And yo, Tretch is the definition of bad acting. Bad.
Bad? He's like diabolical. Seriously, I'm gonna throw this out there.
Okay,
Rap stars make the worst actors.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your Ice-T's, your Ice Cubes, other people with the ice in their name. your
early 90s,
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
But they're never great actors.
Yeah, what about Eminem in 8 Mile? That was kind of good.
Wasn't that partially biographical?
Tell that to 50 Cent. Mr. Act Bad or Die Trying.
Oh, I have seen a 50 Cent movie. Dude, we gotta do a crossover on it. It's called Setup.
Okay, pitch it to me.
Okay, 50 Cent plays a small-time crook who gets double-crossed and he's out for revenge.
Keep going.
It's a Tarantino clone.
Former.
And it's got Bruce freaking Willis in it.
Wait, Bruce Willis?
Yeah, that Bruce Willis.
The actual Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Like Die Hard Bruce Willis. And 50 Cent in 2011 doing a movie together.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta check this out. Let's do this.
To Bad Movie Beatdown.
And this time we'll be looking at Setup, because, regrettably, 50 Cent does movies now.
Evidently, Mr. Fiddy, against the advice of all known critics and audiences in the world, decided he was a great actor and that audiences want to see more silver screen delights from him. Actually, that's an exaggeration because they're more like silver disc delights. He set up his own film production company called Cheetah Vision to self-finance more of his own flicks, and why he gave it a name like a low-rent strip club is baffling but oddly appropriate. Films produced by this company include this film, Gun, Caught in the Crossfire, the album tie-in Before I Self-Destruct, Freelancers, aka Crossfire, Fire with Fire, and 50's infamous cancer drama All Things Fall Apart. What's most inexplicable about these low-budget productions are the Star Wars that has recently been attached to them. Val Kilmer is par for the course, but Bruce Willis? Twice no less? Freelancers has Academy Award winners Robert De Niro and Forrest Whitaker slumming in it. The whole thing has a very do me a favour feel to it, and I'm guessing Willis and De Niro are friends of 50. Mostly, as you can tell from the movies, it primarily exists to give 50 star vehicles, although he only provides a cameo in Fire with Fire. But hey, 50 probably doesn't even care what we think about his direct-to-video movies. In fact, he's more than happy to brag about the huge rate of return he gets for very little investment. Very shrewd from a business perspective, but let me ask you a question. How much will it cost them to not suck? Setup was filmed before Gun but released after, and is co-written and directed by Mike Gunther, who is a stuntman and has the remarkable distinction of 14, yes 14 credited executive producers, which I think is a new record for a movie on this show. And don't forget that 50 Cent himself is credited as a producer, because in case you haven't got the hint yet, this is a vanity project.
We're about to watch a movie where 50 Cent gets to act like a criminal to prove he's badass again, which I'm sure he'll do with absolutely no ego whatsoever. The film begins with, big shock here, 50 Cent narrating to the audience.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a priest. I was going into battle to save men's souls from the evil of the world. But as I got older, I saw the world for what it really was. It wasn't so much who I was going to save, but who was going to save the world from me.
I don't know what's more laughable about that opening, Mr. Cent's completely flat, emotionless delivery, or the fact that he wanted to be a priest. But don't worry, the movie never explains why he did a complete U-turn on his faith, because that would be interesting.
You know, intros like this usually give you something surprising, something that'll hook you in to make you want to know how things got this way. In this movie, it's just like 50 Cent pulls up to this random, I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, I know 50 Cent's about to do something totally gangsta, but he's 50 Cent, we already knew he was going to do that. But if I have no inkling of what's going on in any sort of fashion, I I can't care.
The movie then awkwardly shifts to 2 weeks earlier, where we see Ryan Phillippe's Vincent coming out of prison and being picked up by Sonny, played by Jackson. But not because he's been freed, but because he was visiting his father, who is an inmate. We also meet the third part of this trio, Dave, who is not played by a recognisable actor, recently moved, and has a loving girlfriend and dog.
I gotta go.
Come home soon.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead.
Dead.
Super dead.
Hey, Dave, can you quarterback for us?
Can't, man. I gotta go.
Yo, man, you just moved in here a week ago. How the fuck does everybody know your name already?
I'm blessed with an outstandingly magnetic personality.
Wow, he must really be a great guy. I'm totally not going to forget his name before it even expires.
Wait, what was his name again?
We cut to a prison where James Remar isn't getting along with his fellow inmate here. Oh shit, they're gonna have a mop-off! 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 Mop-off!
You ain't fucking me, boy. My man's in the warden's office, so they're gonna be putting your ass back in general next week. Then it's gonna be on, motherfucker. So they got your ass over there in C Block. That's what they keep all the bitches, snitches.
You wanna run your mouth now, nigga?
Ah, so this scene is to establish that this guy, whoever he is a racist douchebag.
That's actually Vincent's father, William. You see, the reason that you don't realise who he is because they placed the scene wrong, putting it after the scene where Vincent walks out from the prison when it made far too much sense. As a result, you just go, who the fuck is this guy? Because you've never seen him before.
Elsewhere, the three friends keep awkwardly forcing friendly dialogue to establish their friendship so that their eventual departure as friends will be oh so torturous. So, what do these guys do anyway? Did they drive all night just to meet at this building? Is this a movie where these guys are about to go through some, like, hangover type stuff?
Unfortunately not, because the next day we see him attempting a robbery of a convoy of cars carrying a briefcase with $5 million in diamonds in a scene not at all reminiscent of Heat.
Oh, didn't see that one coming. Like, at all? So what were they doing in the 12 hours that they were just driving around?
They're trying to keep this shit to 80 minutes. They don't have time for actual characters and backstory. Their universe does not exist outside these scenes. They steal the briefcase they came for in a poorly edited scene, but not without a body count.
Quit looking at me! Oh, shut up, just the Come on, let's go! Get the fuck out of here! Go, let's go! Let's fucking get out of here!
Ah yes, good guy 50 Cent is a criminal with a heart, so he doesn't shoot after an obligatory 2-minute reflection on his conscience. You know, because he's religious and stuff.
But he had absolutely no problems firing on a coffee shop full of innocent bystanders, because no one could possibly get killed because of that.
Naturally, Sonny is not very happy about the fatality.
Nobody was supposed to die, man. He was fucking laying there, man. I had the situation under control.
Come on, man. The way I see it, I was doing you a favor.
A favor? Well, try not to do me any more fucking favors, all right?
Ladies. So kissing on the first date, okay?
What?
We just gotta stick together.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, you're right. That was stupid. Just like everything else in this movie. In case you hadn't guessed from the title, Vincent sets up his friends and shoots them, taking all the loot for himself.
No, not Dom! I felt so connected in the 11 minutes we spent with him.
Huh. 50 Cent got shot. Again. Welcome to Get Rich or Die Trying 5.0.
As I lay gasping for my next breath, I knew God had given me a second chance, but I was too stupid to take it. I was going to get what was mine.
Hey, you ever get the impression that they added this voiceover later to cover over the chunks they cut out of this movie?
What do you mean? The fact that the last scene ended with Sonny lying unconscious on the ground, and then the next scene he's running bloodied into a tattoo parlor? I don't know what you mean. That's completely seamless.
No, it's not.
Shut up. Sonny goes to his friend Joey, played by Will Yun Lee, who once again feels like someone we probably should have already been introduced to by this point. But don't worry, he never appears again after this scene. He helps remove the bullet, which was deflected by Sonny's cross necklace.
You know, given the amount of times 50 Cent's been shot, God must be tired of saving him. Speaking of which, we move to 1 week later. Are you telling me he just spent a week sitting on his ass rather than getting revenge? And here's the first of a couple awkward scenes where Sonny goes to church.
I had to pray for a friend.
Is he sick?
No. He's dead.
Were you close?
We're like brothers.
Then rest assured, he is in a better place now.
How do you know?
That's a good question. Do you know the type of people 50 Cent hangs out with? Have you even heard of Eminem?
And what's with the heavy religious angle anyway? I don't think a 50 Cent movie full of violence and swearing is going to attract a huge Christian demographic.
Outside is a hitman. I know this because they blatantly tell us. And not because of anything he does in the scene, because he doesn't, hit him. He negotiates with him to get the diamonds back. Aren't the hitmen there for when there is no more negotiation?
That night, Sonny confronts some gangsters who might know where Vincent is, except they don't.
Of course, everyone's got amnesia, but if you get your memory back, tell him my old friend is looking for him, all right? And now I'm robbing you.
Oh, that 50 Cent, stealing money like a true player and a follower of the 10 Commandments since he's so religious. He's so unpredictable, you don't know what he's gonna do next.
And why is he going around telling people to tell Vincent that he's coming for him? Wouldn't that kind of, ruin the surprise and allow him to skip town so you can't find him? A day! Soon afterwards, he gets attacked by Petey, played by Randy Couture, who works for mob boss Biggs, played by Bruce Willis, presumably because Mr. Big was deemed too cliche, whose money Sonny was stealing.
Is this a movie written by a director who's only made trailers for movies? Why do they keep awkwardly telling us the roles of the characters?
Well, you see, it's a combination of the fact they've hacked so much out of the movie that it's a desperate attempt for it to try and make sense. Plus they assume that everyone watching a 50 Cent movie is a fucking idiot. If you're wondering when the hell the plot of this thing might actually start, you're going to be kept waiting for a while, because Big sends Sonny and Petey to do a favour like a shitty video game side quest you'd skip because it's rubbish.
I used to know a guy, laundered money for the Russians. For every $3 he laundered, he kept $1 for himself. $2 million. The only problem is the Russians found out about it and chopped both his legs off with an axe, but they never found the money. His family buried it with him. The Russians found out where the money is. They're gonna take it out of the ground tonight, and you're gonna take it from them.
Why the hell did you bury a guy with $2 million? He's hardly gonna need it in the afterlife.
And even if they were doing it to let the money cool off or whatever, they're putting it on a dead relative and digging him back up. That's fucking terrible. After watching them for a bit, Sonny knocks out the Russians and takes the money as ordered. So the dudes digging didn't find it in any way odd that a car pulled up within walking distance of them while they were doing some pretty shady crap? Usually when you're digging up a dead body, you keep your head on a swivel. What? To celebrate, Petey and Sonny go to a friend's house to get high, and said friend's house is covered with wall-to-wall weapons. Petey, are you really trusting a guy who you just held at gunpoint? Who you, just a couple of minutes ago, were beating the crap out of? Wow, you're a moron and you deserve whatever happens to you.
This smells like a setup for a contrived plot point.
Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? This ain't goddamn duck hunt.
Relax. I can handle a fucking gun.
Yep, it's gonna happen.
What is?
Holy shit! Oh, shit.
This is bad, man. Get a towel.
Told ya.
What? That's stupid! How the hell did he manage that? What, was he scratching an itch with the barrel of the gun?
No, he was just blatantly ripping off Pulp Fiction. Yeah, do you remember the I accidentally shot Marvin in the face scene? Well, certainly Mike Gunther does, because this is a nice little tribute act to the same scenario of trying to get rid of an awkward body, which was the sole reason this subplot and this character was included in the first place.
You my boy, all right? Love you, man, but don't come around here no more, all right? Bad for business, man.
50 Cent, you're a nutty customer. There's still blood on your window blinds. You seem to have calmed down from that pretty quickly.
You know, Tarantino could get away with tangents in his movie because it was episodic. This has nothing to do with anything. And even at 80 minutes, you're still meandering. And the movie continues this bizarre streak of dark humour as Sonny takes the boy to not the wolf, but the butcher, an OTT British dude.
This scene looks like it jumped back into the movie from the deleted scenes section of the DVD. Is there a reason why we're being showed this? Does this say anything about 50's character? What, is this 50 Cent's version of The Jungle? Why does 50 Cent know someone so willing to do this so gleefully? Is this gonna be one of those characters that we're never gonna meet again?
Personally, I'm surprised a meat company hasn't sued this movie, but that would kind of imply that someone actually cares about it. As it stands, it's just, what the fuck? Sonny's narration mumbles something about how Vincent set the deal, so the driver must be in on it. He's referring to the woman who was driving the car they stole the diamonds from, which means it's a good thing he didn't shoot her earlier then. I love how about the movie needs a title card saying The Driver. We've seen her twice in this film so far, and both times she's been driving a car. No shit, she's a driver.
Although I'm pretty sure that the blatant title cards are for the benefit of the intelligence level of the people who still want to see a 50 Cent movie in 2011.
Sonny sneaks up on the driver, named Mia, played by dewan-tatum, and interrogates her, although I find myself being really distracted by 50 Cent's dentistry. Is that the filter they put on the image, or are his teeth that blindingly white? She says she doesn't know anything, but Sonny continues to tail her in his car, apparently for miles without her noticing, leading him to what he believes may be the house Vincent is staying in.
He isn't, but he finds Russell, who works for the Diamond Exchange, and could you cut out those cheap zoom-ins? It doesn't raise tension. It looks like the cameraman accidentally nudged the zoom button.
And once again, he doesn't learn anything about where Vincent may be hiding, but does say, if you see him, tell him I'm coming for him, tell him that. You know, that gets less threatening the more he says it. And this time, he does indeed tell Vincent.
This is your fuck-up. This was your end of the deal?
My end?
Yes. Now take care of it.
What did you tell him?
I didn't say anything.
You're still alive. That means you told him something.
I told you from the beginning there could be no loose ends, Vince.
Get that shit out of here, Marcus.
Wait, that makes sense. This whole thing is your fault for not killing Sonny when you were supposed to. Well, why are you killing this guy? What, because he pointed out the flaw in your plan?
And you don't even know if he did tell him anything. Oh, that's right. I forgot that he was killing him because he's the bad guy. Because we won't forget that if he doesn't kill someone at the end of every single scene.
I can't believe we're related.
Wait, hold up. Those two are related? Is she like a sister, a cousin?
Wait. Vincent and Sonny have known each other for years and years and years and years, but he's never met his sister?
What? Some of you may be wondering if there's any more Bruce Willis in this film. Well, yes, there is. Here's a lovely topical bit where he complains about the decline of newspapers for about a minute or so. And then another dark comedy scene where they accidentally beat a Russian dude to death trying to find Petey, both of which are yet more attempts at trying to do Tarantino and failing miserably.
Hey, Bruce Willis is my favorite person in this. I mean, I kind of like his ramblings as an old man. It's kind of endearing. I mean, it makes him pretty much the only person in this movie that we can look at as a character. Plus, it's Bruce fucking Willis.
Hey, I like Bruce Willis as much as the next guy, but come on, these scenes are blatantly filler. It's like they got Bruce Willis in the role, remember when he was in Pulp Fiction, and decided that they were making a sequel. I'm surprised they don't have a scene where he goes on about watches. Speaking of filler, it's another one of those church scenes. Apparently adds so that 50 Cent gets more chances to act. Oh, yay.
I think you're being a bit harsh, Matt. I mean, the second scene with the preacher actually works because he actually says some very interesting points about free will and the nature of good versus evil. It's actually too good for this movie. Who let the good writer in for 35 seconds and nothing else? There's also another scene where 50 Cent visits Donald's grave and his bereaved girlfriend, which is yet another one of the many instances where 50 tries to show us how much of a great guy he is, despite all the stealing and cheating and, I would say killing, but he hasn't done that yet. I think this guy's really trying to do the badass with a heart of gold thing, but it is not being done well.
I'll say, look at the lack of emotion on his face. Not closing your mouth like Kristen Stewart is not the same thing as emoting. And yet more pointless scenes, like one where Sonny decides to go to prison to confront William for the sole purpose of asking if he has any final words for his son. Why doesn't he just make a giant sign hang out on the tallest building in the city saying, if you see Vincent, tell him I'm coming for him? That way he doesn't have to go to every single one of Vincent's acquaintances to tell him.
Remember that hitman from earlier? Well, he's back and he's suddenly throwing Mia against her mostly glass furniture, asking where the diamonds are. How does this guy know about her? Is there a deleted scene where 50 told him about her that was cut because we might feel less sympathetic about it?
Is this all worth it?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, scary.
It was a stupid idea to threaten a guy with broken glass in your already cut up hand, wasn't it?
And I found myself wincing at the fact that the most protracted bit of violence in the film is dealt towards a woman who may be a villain but hasn't actually done anything all that heinous, being killed off by a character with no motivation. Yeah, I think I can find plenty of reasons to feel uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, here's yet another scene where Biggs tortures a Russian over Petey and Sonny, where they do finally get some information that Sonny took the money. And then, for gut-busting hilarity, they accidentally drown him to death as they chat about baseball. Whoopsie daisy. Excuse me if I don't laugh, as I watch Bruce Willis smirking as he tortures someone to death after I've just seen a woman cut to shit by glass. To say the placement of this scene is ill-advised is an understatement. Naturally, Vincent is distraught over the death of his sister, and we discover why he did the double cross in the first place. He's going to use the money as a way of paying off the prison so that his father stays away from the general population that will shortly kill him. He gets pissed when he learns that they put the price up, and there's even more sloppy zooms because then we know it's intense. I don't know why he's getting so angry. It's blatantly shown that he's got the extra money, so why doesn't he just pay it aside from being a greedy bastard? I mean, wasn't the whole point of this to save his father?
Vincent also pays a visit to his father in prison, who's typically unsympathetic.
Mia's dead.
What do you want me to say?
You only want to know how?
It doesn't fucking matter.
What am I doing wrong?
Well, Sonny, for one.
How you know about Sonny?
He sat right where you're sitting right now on the other side of this glass, and he looked me in the eye. Can you do the same?
So now you're kissing 50's ass, saying that he's more of a man than your own son? So even the most bigoted man at heart must stand back in awe of the awesome might that is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
And really, you have no emotion over your daughter's death? What, do you hate everyone that isn't white and male? Why does anyone want to save this guy from getting a well-deserved shiv? Elsewhere, Sonny used that Russian money he stole earlier by putting it in a teddy bear as a gift for Dale's girlfriend and daughter.
The same guy that shot you, Whack Petey, took my money, and you want me to believe that?
Jess, I told you I was looking for him when you first grabbed me, remember?
Your friend, Vincent.
I know what Vincent is, and I know where the money is. Well, give me some of your men, we'll go get the money, bring it right back.
I have a different plan.
So let me get this straight. You went to a dangerous mobster to try and explain that you weren't the one who took his money, but Vincent did, because there's absolutely no evidence to support that whatsoever. And he believes him? Really?
And you spent the better part of a week hiding from him. I don't think your cover story is very credible. But no, they're suddenly best friends, sharing drinks in the back of Biggs' limo and everything, because 50 Cent is just such an awesome guy. They even bond over religion, which I think is one of the least likely subjects to bring up to a mob boss.
Hey, you go to church?
I used to.
So you believe in God?
Yeah, I pray every night. I need a God that's got a lot of forgiveness.
This is the same guy who earlier in the movie casually tortured and murdered some Russians, and we're supposed to believe he's a God-fearing man who prays every single night?
I mean, come on, Bruce Willis' character is an asshole. That's what makes him so fun.
Biggs and Sonny confront Vincent and the rival mobsters that he's allied with, and for some inexplicable reason, Biggs really wants everyone to die in this huge standoff.
You got something in this man, you give it to him now.
Or we could all die, John.
That's how they kill Bruce Willis in this movie. No fanfare, no big moment, just a lot of people shooting at each other because Biggs loves Petey so much and because the director wanted to do Reservoir Dogs.
And why is no one shooting at Sonny or Vincent? They're the main reasons why this is happening. What, do they have a main character force field around them?
Sonny chases after the goofily running Vincent as he makes his escape, which is shot in a really poorly staged way that feels like a bunch of takes together rather than a cohesive scene. Or maybe it's because it's one of those chase scenes where they turn into marathon runners. Vincent even shrugs off getting hit by a car with a fake CGI smash. Not to be outdone, Sonny manages to crash onto a table without it slowing him down either. And how does this chase end? Really underwhelmingly as a bus blocks Sonny from continuing. Actually, just wondering, where are the cops in this film? Surely a couple of guys chasing each other and firing guns in the middle of downtown Detroit would attract a little bit of attention.
Yeah, but it's kind of late now, considering there's been no police investigating the robbery, the several murders, or the digging up some guy. How do you make a crime movie without a single cop in it? Ryan tells the prison that he's got the money, which he always had, so why did it take him so long, when suddenly he's confronted by the hitman. What's with this Frenchman? Did they cut his storyline out of the movie? He just appears in and out of nowhere.
So the way I see it, you have three choices. You can fuck around, in which case I kill you. You can go for that gun on the desk, and I kill you. Or You can just give me the diamond and I'll let you disappear. You're not half as tough as your little girlfriend.
She wasn't my girlfriend. She was my family.
You got off easy, motherfucker.
Way to make good on your promise, supposed hitman. I mean, you told him not to reach for the gun, and he's obviously reaching for something under the table, so why didn't you just fucking shoot him?
And am I supposed to cheer that an evil hitman got picked off by an equally shitty bad guy? Who the hell am I supposed to be rooting for in this movie? So Vincent walks out only to get knocked on the head by Sonny, which now means we're right back where we started.
Wow, you are terrible at in medias res. There's literally nothing going on to tell us what's happening here.
It's almost like they copy and pasted that scene at the beginning of the movie to justify the narration.
Nah, that'd be stupid. Sonny takes Vincent out of the trunk and pours antifreeze on his head, which doesn't really make sense since what he wants him to do is dig his own grave.
You ever thought about where the fuck you'd be without me? Man, who was the one out there making contacts, setting up scores while you and Dave was getting high? Who was the one who brought you in on shit, put money in your pockets, helped you support your moms? Me! Everything you got in this world is because of me! Everything you fucking are in this world is because of me!
Wait, so Ryan was the one doing all the heavy lifting and 50 Cent and his apparently big mouth friend were just dead weight? I mean, 50 Cent doesn't seem to be disagreeing with what he's saying, so it's apparently true, so... this kind of makes you guys look like the douchebags in this situation. I mean, he probably just wanted to break free from you clowns because you were holding him back.
What could you have gotten to that was so bad that you couldn't tell me? I needed all the money. They were gonna kill my father. What? You're right, man. And I'm sorry, I should have come to you. You gotta tell me, what can I do right now? How can I make this right, man? Tell me what to do. You should have thought about that before.
So this whole movie is based on the idea that he's so over his head that he couldn't tell his friends they needed the money, even though as close-knit buddies, they'd be able to understand and help him? And why is he acting all evil half the time? Nothing about his characterization makes sense.
But in the clearly foreshadowed redemption for Sonny, he decides not to kill Vincent and just leaves him there, bringing 50 Cent's body count for the whole film to a surprising 0. Remember, 50 Cent may be the biggest badass there is, but he's also a really nice guy. He got shot for our sins.
And I hate to break it to you, Sonny, but if you don't kill this guy now, then that means that there's nothing to stop him from coming after you and killing you instead for revenge. So I hope you made your peace with God. So William ends up getting brutally shivved to death in prison, Dan's girlfriend receives the bear, and Sonny collects some money he saved for himself because evidently he overlooks thou shalt not steal. The end. So that was setup.
Or as I like to call it, 50's yearly reminder that he still has street cred.
Setup has slightly higher production values and cast for a direct-to-video movie, but that's pretty much where the virtues end. It has a generic formulaic plot, but still manages to screw that up surprisingly badly with a convoluted, poorly structured mess that shows clear signs of re-editing, barely scraping in at 80 minutes. 50 Cent just doesn't have the presence to carry this flick, and the rest of the cast seem to be stooping down to his level because the acting in general is quite poor. Most shameful is Bruce Willis, whose guest appearance here appears to have been an excuse to overextend a minor supporting role into some third-rate Tarantino copy, which we thought had died out a few years ago, but here it is in 2011. It may be a relatively quick sit, but it's amazing how much stupidity they managed to fit in such a short time.
There's not much to say about this one, man. It was obviously made to make up for 50's slipping relevance at a time where the only thing people really cared about concerning 50 had to do with his silly beefs with Rick Ross and Kanye West, and any hood stripes he had were quickly stripped away with commercials for vitamin water and SK energy drinks with Joan Rivers. So basically the moral of the story is crime is cool, but sometimes it's not really cool. But mostly it's cool. I'm the Rap Critic, and this is Matthew Buck saying you don't have to like our opinions,
but we don't have to like your movie either. Good night!